Hey everyone, Nick Engvall here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about some of the people that make the sneaker history community and this podcast possible. It's more important than ever to think about who you give your money to when you're buying clothing to go with your kicks. Our friends at Guilty Goods started their brand with a goal of giving back, especially to the communities that make sneaker culture possible. With every purchase from Guilty Goods, at least 10% of the proceeds are donated to organizations like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the Movement for Black Lives, and many more. You can save 30% on your order by using the code HISTORY at guiltygoods.us. Again, that's history at guiltygoods.us for 30% off, and you can feel good about your purchase knowing you're supporting a meaningful cause. Sneakers are all about presentation, and if you're like me, displaying your kicks at home or in the office is just as important as when they're on your feet. Sneaker Throne makes sneaker display cases featuring customizable LED lights, drop-side cases to showcase the entire side of the shoe, not just the heel or the toe, the whole shoe. They've also got display cases for trading card collectors and hat collectors. To me, it's the perfect way to display your collection. You can save at least 10% on your Sneaker Throne order by using the code HISTORY at sneakerthrone.com. That's history at sneakerthrone.com. If you're a Patreon supporter or a member of our Discord community, you already know about Kicks with V hot sauce and his small batch, locally sourced hot sauce. V has been one of the biggest supporters of sneaker history and the podcast since the early days. He's currently the defending champion in our community trivia nights competition. Kicks with V hot sauce has been a huge hit with the community. You can save 10% on your order by using the code SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. That's SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. Now, you're probably here because you like sneakers, and if you join the Discord, you know our community is about so much more than that. Whether it's the marathon-like community calls, trivia night debates, the in-person meetups, or just sharing our favorite experiences, we found that although we have such different backgrounds, we all have some unexpected shared passions. Not only does the entire community look out for each other when it comes to releases, we're like a support group for life in general. You can join the Discord community for free by heading to the show notes of this episode. After you're done listening to this episode, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Now let's get into today's episode.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move! With no regard for human life. Final seconds. Bryant for the win.
Iverson against Gill. The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win.
Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast.
What up? What up? Welcome back to another episode of the Sneaker History Podcast. My name's Nick Engvall. I'm with my guy Robbie Falke today to talk some sneakers. What's going on, man? How's it going?
I'm doing great, my guy. Sitting here impatiently waiting for the Black Cats. I'll keep talking about them till I have them in hand, but I'm doing good, feeling good.
It's funny because like that shoe is if people know me from like my like past career working on cars, I wore that shoe as like my work shoe for like a solid like 2-3 years because it was all black, so I could get away with it being in the shop, and They were just so beat by the time I was done with them, but definitely one of my favorite retros, especially non-original colorway for sure.
And I'm keeping all that energy. I bought the Mocha 3s. I got the Cool Gray 4s. All that 06 stuff is near and dear to my heart. So mainly because I got picked on by a kid that had all those shoes. So it's like vengeance purchases now.
It's a good era, though. I mean, we'll get into more probably from that era on this episode. We're going to talk about
a lot of shoes.
Yeah, the Air Max 90 30th anniversary and some of the shoes from that. But before we get into that, I want to read one of the reviews. Rohi M13, the heart and soul of the sneaker industry. As a relapsed sneakerhead that's slowly finding his footing again, this podcast has been perfect for me to dip my toe back into industry that moves fast. The Achilles heel of the sneakerhead is they can be judgmental to an absurd degree, but Robbie, Nick, and Mike make for easy listening as well as provide analysis that educates and entertains even the most seasoned vet. I'm going to stop typing before I put my foot in my mouth, but listen to them now and become smarter because of it. That's an amazing review. So definitely appreciative. If you guys could take a minute and leave us a review on iTunes, we would definitely appreciate it. Any feedback that you have for the podcast, we would love to hear it, whether that's, on Twitter, on Instagram, DM us, tweet at us, however you need to get it to us. We really just want to make this better for you guys. So take a minute, leave a review. We would be greatly appreciative.
Please. I'm just kidding.
So what are you rocking? What are you copping this week? Obviously, you already mentioned the Black Hats. Anything else on the radar? And what'd you wear today?
Yeah. So people got in my DMs and reminded me that I don't like Air Max 90s. I wore my Air Max 90 volts the past like 2 days in a row. Sprayed them with some Jason Mark water repellent because it's shitty in Portland right now. But I love them. Like, I think the big difference is when I last had a pair, I got a size 12 and they just don't fit right on my pancake feet. I have flat and round feet. So like they didn't hit, but I got these in a 12.5 and they're super comfortable. The volt looks really good. So I'm like, I'm a converted Air Max 90 fan now. All it took was one good shoe and I was on board. But within that same kind of realm, on my radar has been these Olympic ring Air Max 97s. I don't know if you've seen them, but there's a black pair, red, green, blue, symbolizing the Olympic rings. And they're super cool. They're all monochrome. They all have like nice gold little mini swooshes on them. They're all pretty uniform minus the colors. They're just super clean. Like I've never owned a pair of like, it's hard to find all one color Air Maxes that aren't just all white or all black. Some Air Max 90s we'll be talking about in a moment fit into that description, but for the most part, there's some flavor on them. So I like that they're just suede, flat, one color, super crispy.
Yeah, those look pretty good. They got like a little gold swoosh on them too. It's like, yeah, I mean, I agree. That's definitely like the simple colorways seem to be kind of forgotten on a lot of those silhouettes because a lot of people, I think, look at them and just think, oh, this has got to be a crazy, there's so many panels, there's so many different ways you can do it and you go too far with it. But so I today I'm wearing the Eric Emanuel Reebok Answer 5s, the yellow and silver joints. Again, they are they're definitely one of my favorite. I mean, there's enough nostalgia in it for me that I wanted the shoe to come back. But the materials on the Eric Emanuel collabs are just crazy. So I did pick up other colorways of the Answer 5, but none of them really live up to the material that's on the Eric Emanuel one. So yeah, that's what's on my feet today. As far as copping, I am obviously looking at those Black Hats as well. The shoe that caught my eye the most in the last couple of days is that orange and white more than an athlete LeBron 17. I mean, yes. I love the blue colorway. I didn't pick the pair up just because I didn't want to spend the money on them, but orange hits a little closer to home for me. So yeah, there's that.
And they probably have really good, like the blue pair had removable tongues and you could do, like it came with Sharpies and everything. So you could write like Go Giants. Funny thing about this, kind of on topic while we're talking about orange, San Francisco sports since 2010 has had a team in whatever respective World Series, Super Bowl, NBA Finals every year but 2011. That blew my mind.
Yeah, and I think so. There's somebody tweeted out a list, but they actually missed the San Jose Sharks in 2016 were in the finals. So, I mean, it's been insane to think of like how good the teams have been and how long this kind of run has been. Because, I mean, being a Giants fan, shit, it was like 2001 or whatever was the last time the team was good enough to get excited about. And then back beyond that is like 89. And then obviously the Warriors, I mean, the 93 to 94 Warriors, I think is a totally underrated team with Mullen, Hardaway, Richmond, Billy Owens, Sprewell, Weber, but they just, they weren't all on the same page to make it happen. But yeah, it's definitely been a good run. There was a big drought before that, but it's good to see that it's still going strong.
Speaking of droughts, I think the Air Max 90 like goes through droughts and then comes back strong, and then goes through another drought and then comes back strong. Enough to where we have 30 different Air Max 90s we're going to be talking about here. A lot of them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it definitely has those moments where people kind of just dismiss it and forget about it. And part of it's on the brand side, right? Part of it's Nike just saying, you know, this isn't that serious right now. We're not going to put out a bunch of colorways. And then other times it's just the nature of consumers, right? Where you've got like a small group of people that are like diehard, you know, Air Max dudes that are all about them, and they'll never move away from them. But in general, I think consumers, like the mass consumer, you know, ebbs and flows in and out of, you know, running shoes and basketball shoes and dunks and all that kind of stuff. So
it's funny. It's just like the Air Max 90, I think, is right below the Air Force One when it comes to all black and all white. Like, you can find somebody at Trejo's Tacos right now in some high white socks and some all white Air Max 90s right now.
Yep. And I think the 90 is one of those shoes too. Like it hasn't really had, like, I guess a lot of crazy collaborations, like, consistently enough. I think a lot of the popular colorways on the shoe are really just like colors that Nike threw on the shoe. Not, you know, there are some obviously, and we'll get into those, but I don't know. I mean, I think like you mentioned before, we probably might as well start with like the craziest of the bunch, right? Like if we're talking about 30 shoes that we would want to see actually release, I think the 2007 Warhawk Air Max 90 has got to be up there, right?
Man, I just think Enola Gay. I think Ken Burns' World War II documentaries. I just think like all of the cool stuff. I can't think of a better themed shoe. And there's a couple other that will rival that just on this Air Max 90 list when it comes to themes. But the Warhawk, man, it's like it was designed for that look. The Jordan 5 had fighter plane inspiration. That's easy to make like a flight suit or whatever they've been doing with that. That's a little bit easier to shoe in. But the Warhawk 90 is just like everything fell in place, like 17 years later when it actually came out compared to 1990. So it's just such a distinct shoe. If you're walking down the street, you know exactly what they are. There's no ifs, ands, or buts once you see those teeth. It's just, they're awesome.
Yeah, I think that shoe too. You know, before we started recording, I was saying I think that shoe is one that caught on well after the release. I mean, I think that there's still a wow factor when it came out, but it was almost too crazy for a lot of people back then. You know, this is like 2007, I think, and you know, you weren't seeing a whole lot of like crazy shoes the way you know you kind of see stuff nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. There's just so many. I'm like, well, where do we go from here? I mean, if we're staying on crazy, we also have to try to keep a list of which ones we're talking about here. Do you just want to set up this next one?
I mean, yeah, however you want to go with it, because I'll keep track of them, and then I'll read through everything at the end. But I mean, there's so many, man. There's so many that I really love too. But I guess we don't really need to put the Bacons on, but we should at least acknowledge that the Bacons are going to be retro, and it's one of the greatest. Even if you're not a meat eater, it's one of the greatest Air Maxes of all time, I would think.
They're just so beefy or porky. They're not beef at all. Maybe it's an 80-20 blend. I don't know. It's quality meat. But okay, so that's definitely a crazy theme. How about like the moon landing, the good pair of the moon landings? Let's put it that way. Not the not the Mars, but the original Moon Apollo 11.
I mean, all 3M. That's
insane.
Just one of the. I mean, I just love 3M in general, but that shoe. Let me just nitpick here a little bit. The only thing that could have made that maybe one step better is if it was actually like a NASA collab, like we've seen in more recent years, right?
Yes,
that'd be super bananas. But otherwise, that shoe's crazy. I think for sure people would love to see it. That didn't get it the first time around. The Mars version is just not up to par comparatively, but I still like it. It's not really.
It's not the same, but different.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny because that 3M, like the Moon print, kind of masks the creases that you get in 3M. So like they age a lot better than most 3M shoes would. I slept on these
for sure.
I remember specifically those are stupid. I'm not going to buy those. And then I saw the price, like, whoa, shit, I messed up. Played myself.
Yeah. So
Overgrown.
What else do?
Overgrown.
Yeah, definitely. Let me see here.
I think Poison Ivy. I think other plant-like people. I don't know. Groot. I don't know. It's just like so cool.
When did that shoe come out?
I want to say 2006 or 7. This is all kind of that 2006 or 7.
All that era, yeah.
Let's see here.
Huffquakes,
another 07. The blue elephant print. Well, blue with elephant print, to be more exact.
Yeah, Huffquakes, obviously one of my favorite. Anything San Francisco themed, but I think they really did a great job with this one just because it was different than kind of the rest of the Huffquake stuff, where you had like the black and orange dunk. Then was it the dunk? Did they do black and orange dunks and Air Force Ones? There was obviously the green and black Huffquake Air Force One too, but this just kind of stood out because it was close to like like a true blue 3. I mean a military blue 4, right? In like the gray and the blue. And I think it just works really well on the 90.
That print, I mean, it's cracked pavement. It's not elephant print, like I just said, but they're insane. That blue makes it pop so hard. So I guess another collab, the Cause Air Max 90 came in both black and white. The funny story I have about that, there's a new shop that just opened up in Portland called Colt, CULT. And I'm walking by and I see a framed Kermit the Frog, poster. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I see the Tesla flamethrower, and I'm like, okay. And then I see one single shoe, not a pair, one single Cause Air Max 90s. I'm like, okay, I'm going in there. So I go in and I'm talking to the owners. He bought those shoes directly from one of the not skate shops, but one of the boutiques that got them back in the day. I don't remember off the top of my head which one, but it was an LA retailer, not Nike Direct. And he ordered those, and they came in with one black and one white. They came mismatched. So he ended up selling the black one, the single black. I don't know how he sold, but he sold the single black, and now he'll never get rid of that single white. Has this one single white Cause Air Max 90 sitting there. And I was like, man, if you would have kept that pair, how, I guess there's no way you could prove that they came mismatched and you didn't just switch them yourself. But that was cool. I'd be pissed and happy at the same time.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's definitely like one of the better colorways too. I mean, it's so simple, but adding the Volt, having the Cause name and the X's on it was just like, it was just like a winning combo.
It's what makes the 4 so good, and the Air Force Ones. But anything he's done with Nike, they're so simplistic. You would almost say to a fault, but just his imprints on there, so it's not to a fault. But it's just classy, timeless, many things, all the good stuff. So let's see here. Thinking of like theme stuff, we have the navigation Jeff Staple. Supposed to be like, go for it.
I was just going to say we should probably like dig into that one a little bit, because a lot of people probably don't know that was even a Jeff Staple designed shoe.
Yes. Go for it.
So the navigation pack basically was like, if I remember right, there's the 90, then is it a burst? Yeah, I think it's an air burst. And then I think there's like a Nike Shocks. Is it the NZs? I might be wrong on what the Shocks, because I don't know the models of the Shocks the way I do Air Maxes, but like
No, you're right. It's an NZ. It's an NZ, a 93. Yeah. There's Air Max 93, Air Max. Well, there's a couple. It's in a couple. So then there's 2 sets of Air Max 90s. There's 2 93s and 2 NZs. So there's 6 in total. But this one specifically was done by Jeff Staple.
Yeah. So like the 93 would have been like the Air Burst, basically. Like I think that there's with the like it's basically like map overlay, kind of like zoomed in, or I guess zoomed out, so you don't really see the map, right? But it's the concept was like overlaying the map over the shoe and kind of having that as like the print. And honestly, like in my opinion, the 90 is the best out of the bunch. I think it's just kind of it looks rugged. It looks like a little outdoorsy because it's like this dark, like olive gray and like green, and it has like a dark blue swoosh on it. So it's pretty. Mm-hmm. It was definitely stood out at that time too, because you had, this is 2004. You had some interesting stuff going on Air Max 90s and such, but not to this level. And definitely putting it in a pack made it stand out a lot more back then, in my opinion.
No, for sure. A year later, they did a mapped version. Well, they did the 2K4 too, but basketball did a similar pack too. But yeah, I mean, that's just some of like the really, I mean, let's put it this way. Jeff Staple has more shoes than dunks. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So, go Google it. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I realized earlier I called the Patas overgrown and they're homegrowns, just so no one sends me death threats on their grail. So
homegrown Patas. Yeah. One of the best, I would say, like absolutely one of the best weed inspired colorways.
100%. Those and the skunks are just can't get better.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm pretty sure this next shoe, maybe Tiger. There's like a weed name with Tiger in it, but the Tiger Camo Air Max 90s. That's like a newer one. I believe it retroed once already, or was it a one timer? They did a similar Tiger one, like the 20th anniversary.
Yeah,
no,
it was different. Different, but there's definitely a similar version of it. But I think this is another one of those things that almost like we were talking about how the 90 like ebbs and flows out of like being cool. Like the Tiger Camo stuff is that way too, right? Sometimes like Tiger Camo is like all over the place, and then other times you just never see it anywhere.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they'll do stuff like that. They had the crushed. This is another one I wanted to see because I'm mad I slept on it. The crushed velvet Air Max 90 came out the same year as that second Tiger Camo one I was referring to a moment ago. Those are incredibly nice. I don't know why there's been a lot of like velvety shoes the past 10 years. I just never bought them, but I really appreciate the way they look. They're beautiful. I want to put them on a mantle. They're good. I mean, that same time, you also had like a reverse. Well, I definitely know the reverse infrared retroed at least once before. Like that one's been around a couple times, right?
Yeah. Yep.
They did a whole infrared celebration. That's why you had the red velvet and you had reverse infrared. So then, of course, if we're going to talk infrared, let's just throw one more in there. The granddaddy of them all, the infrared Air Max 90, which I'd be willing to bet my left arm that we will see this year, right? Like they're not going to let that one go. without retroing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they can, right? Like that's a lot of people's, favorite, by far my favorite Air Max of all time. Just it's one of those. It's almost like, like the red Air Max 1, the infrared 90s, the neon 95s. If you're into Air Max, like those are kind of one of the three like pillars of Air Max collector. But I do think it's kind of cool. There's been the two like kind of two different reverse infrareds. And a lot of times when they try to do like the reverse type stuff, they just don't pull it off the right way. And I feel like they did a really good job both of the times that they did for reverse infrared colorways.
Mm-hmm. I mean, within a similar, like, let's say breeding pool, like the laser pink Air Max 90s, which have a lot of elements. Like I would say laser pink and infrared's the same shit, just depending on how good your eyes are. Like there's differences for sure, but I'm a little colorblind. So when I look at them, they look the same to me. But like, that's one of those classic Nike combos they've been doing for forever. It's mostly called ultramarine, but like, the pink and blue, pink and navy, pink and purple, pink and navy, just that kind of, mixed with white. Very, very quintessential Air Max.
Yeah. Yep. So kind of related and tying back into the Tiger Camo. So like the Tiger Camo 2013 or whatever that was that came out was the Atmos collab. And then Atmos also dropped the infrared camo, which kind of has like, it's like a black version of the Air Max 90 infrared with almost like a more traditional like Bape camo style on it. And that shoe was pretty dope.
Yes. So, forgot about those. Yeah. Those are good. Then he had the ones that sat the Atmos, like the blue and red Air Max 90s that had like the sneaker box print all throughout.
Yeah.
Those sat like bricks, but they're dope still. Like it's funny. Like when the price is right, any Air Max 90 specifically looks good. Like regardless of
it's true.
It's still good.
I think that says a lot about like the silhouette too, right? Like you can almost, wait as long as the material's good on like an iconic sneaker, like an Air Max 90, you can wait till it hits the clearance racks, hits the hash wall at Nike and pick it up for like 40 or $50. And if you don't wear it right away and sit on it for a few years, it's going to be so much better because like most people will forget that it was released, or they're just like, whatever, it was not that, it was discounted. So it wasn't hype enough. But then when you start wearing it, people are like, damn, I haven't seen that one before. Or have you seen, where did that come from? When did it come out? And I think that's what it's all about, right? Just having something that gets people thinking and like talking a little bit more.
It's so funny you said that because so many Nikes do it. Like the Tech Challenge 2 Hot Lavas, those were at every outlet. Those were heavily discounted a couple years ago. And I was doing my typical eBay late night stalking, and they're like $200 now, and you easily got those for $50 if you did it right. And now you're making 150, or you're coming out and somebody's saying those are dope, whatever, what you were just saying. Like years later, they're either going to be worth more monetarily or they'll be worth more in the streets for praise.
Yeah. Yep.
Here's one you definitely did not, if you sat on it, you have a lot of money now, and if you slept on it, you might feel a little foolish. The Independence Day pack, the white, the blue, and the red, 3 different shoes. But man, like the Hyperfuse, to me, when you say Hyperfuse Air Max, you've already said too much. I'm not interested anymore. Like for the most part, like no-so, you lost me at no-so. But like this particular time, I don't know if it was the American flag or just, again, monochrome looking really good on Air Maxes, but all 3 of those shoes skyrocketed and are now highly coveted.
I don't really understand why, to be honest. If I'm
Makes no sense.
honest.
Makes none.
even when they came out, I want to say that I was at Finish Line when those came out, and the red ones sold out right away. But the rest of them were like they didn't sell out as quickly. And I just didn't understand how, like, of all the like tonal shoes that we released, why those were the ones that people, wanted. But
and they're hyperfuse. Like, damn, that's like, definitely a shock to the system. But they're a couple hundred now, like more than a couple hundred if you have a pair dead stock. Like, they're definitely worth it. So simple in a different way. I'm just going to jump around on you, make it really hard to remember what we've covered. Like, there's been a couple ACG inspired Air Max 90s, but the Moab, there are more iconic Nike colorways, but that's definitely one of them, right? Top 10
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Those are clean. Little snake scale looking stuff on the side, on the mud guard. Very, very clean. What else we got here? Silver Surfer. You go.
So I was just going to say the Moab colorway, for people listening, is you recognize it. It's like, it's got that like bright blue, orange, kind of off white, and like Robbie said, black snake scale on the mudguard, and then kind of like that like super like concrete looking midsole detail. And I think like it's been on a ton of different shoes. I'm pretty sure they did an Air Force One in this not too long ago, maybe last 4 or 5 years. But yeah, I actually like that colorway a lot too, because I think there was like a couple of different like lace options rather than just getting kind of the standard issue colors. There was a few different versions in it, but
definitely dope. Here's another colorway that I just bought, for God's sake. It's called Hot Lime Volt. I think this is pre-Volt. They called it Hot Lime. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but this looks the same. The Hot Lime Air Max 90s, white, black, gray, Volt / Hot Lime. Just works. They can put that on any Air Max and it's going to look good.
Definitely. That's like I want to say that's like one of the original, like, first few years of the shoe coming out too, where that came out. So
yeah, that laser blue was a very well, let's just bring it up. Laser blue, you got to have those come back.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
the Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah. Did the laser blues release? I thought I saw, if they're not, they are planning on coming back. Yeah, 20.
That's like the quintessential. That's like a 1990s color.
Yeah,
like
for
that.
Sure. Yeah,
that shade of blue. It's just like the color of the 90s.
Yeah, so that at least according to Sneaker Bar Detroit, looks like a fall release. So shout out to Mario over there at Sneaker Bar Detroit, and actually the Sneaker Bar Detroit podcast guys too, like Caesar and them, Jumpman Bostic. They've been super supportive too. So make sure you give them a follow if you haven't already.
The OG, the sneaker basement, the Jordan basement, not sneaker, the Jordan basement. He's like a superhero in the sneaker game, much like the Silver Surfer Air Max 90s.
Great segue. The weird part about the Silver Surfer Air Max 90s, it's not really silver enough. Although I love it. It's not what you would think of as Silver Surfer.
Not at all. Like I was just saying a couple episodes ago, silver shoes don't do it for me. And these are just more like chrome accents than silver, if anything. And they're hella clean. That's what matters. Like they're dope shoes. We were talking about snakes and we didn't do like the OG Pythons, the 03s.
Yeah.
The black joints with the gray.
Black and gray. Yeah. Those are great.
Eat your heart out, Raider Nation. Those are dope.
Yeah. Like same era. I think the Escape Pack. There was 2 different colors of the Escape Pack, right? So you might have seen like the original Escapes, probably Air Force 3s and a couple other shoes, and then the Escape 2, which was like the lighter browns, and then that like super like kind of off blue, light, not, I don't know, pale blue, whatever you want to call it. but the Air Max 90 Escape 2 2003. So we're gonna put all this on a blog post so you guys can roll through all of these. But this is definitely one of the most, like, I don't know. To me, it's just like, anytime a shoe puts colors on it that I don't normally like, and I see it and I'm like, damn, that looks really good, it's always impressive to me. And this is like one of those shoes that from the very get-go was like, whoa, those are just not the same, like, you know, standard issue colors that you see on the wall at Foot Locker, right? And I think that is probably why people actually like were really into them when they came out.
Man, I mean, that didn't usher in like crazier designs, but it was one of the early ones, man. Like, yeah, that's a good shoe. Same kind of time frame, 2002, the Couriers, the denims, whatever you want to call them, probably top 5. Well, probably definitely top 5. I would say maybe even top 3 denim shoes ever. Denim Air Force One, these, I think the Jordan 4s are stupendous. So like these are so high up there for me.
Yeah, I love these too. Probably, I don't know that the originals would last if I could find a pair now, but would happily take a retro of this
all day.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here. I mean, oh, crepe.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I want crepes now. I'm kind of hungry. Those look really good. Yeah, Escape 2. You already brought those up. Surtags that kind of look like Sunset or Sunrise Air Max 90s, but 2005, another ACG kind of inspired Air Max 90, super clean. I think a little busy for me, but they're dope.
Yeah, I like them. I don't know. Might not be like my first on my wish list. The other one that I was thinking about earlier was, I don't remember when it was, but there was a Air Max 90, like they did the Cities pack, and there was I want to say they did like, there was an Air Max 1, but then there was an Air Max 90 that was really dope. That was shoot, what was it? Was it Milan? Did it got the Air Max 90? I'm gonna have to look it up real quick.
Damn you, City exclusive shoes.
Yeah, so Air Max 90 Milan. So it's basically like there was a few Air Max that released. They were quick strikes, like true quick strikes back in the day. It was like a super like almost tonal, but had like a bright orange liner and a bright orange outsole on like this kind of light olive looking upper. I guess it's like gray, like dark gray, or like, but it's like suede. So it was like Air Max 90 Milan, and then there was an Air Max 1 Milan as well that had like gray and pink, I think, right? I don't know if you remember those.
I remember. No, I don't. I'm trying to think. It's like, I'd be lying to you. Readers, listeners, do you know this shoe? Do you like?
Yeah, it was. I just looked it up. It was considered part of the Home Turf series, Air Max Home Turf, 2013 release. And they did a bunch of shoes. I'm gonna say, yeah, there was like a 97. There was a bunch of Air Max 1s, but it was a good looking shoe. I probably would cop if it was retro. It's just one of those.
Isn't it funny? Like, because you sound hesitant about that purchase. It's almost like we're conditioned when we know something is old and hyped and haven't seen it in a long time. That, I mean, it's true. It's just like, like, for example, every LeBron 7, it's just like, I didn't know I needed those until they were available to me again, and now I need them. Like, I might as well not miss out. It's the fear of missing out, the FOBO, right?
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, it's part of it is like, damn, I did want to buy those the last time around.
Yeah.
Right. So part of me is like, well, I didn't buy them the first time. Did I really want them? And then I'm like, yeah, I look at them long enough. I want just about any shoe, but
right. You stare long enough. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. But, so I guess adding another one to the list, I think the Livestrong Air Max 90, although, I don't know if Lance Armstrong is still canceled, but the Livestrong Air Max 90 was super dope to me. Any of the Livestrong shoes, to be honest, but that black and yellow color combination was solid.
Man, if Ray Lewis isn't canceled, we need to uncancel Lance Armstrong. I mean, this is be real. Speaking of canceled for a different way, we never saw these next Air Max 90s come out, but it's another one of this Nike colorways, the Dunkman, aka LeBron Air Max 90s. It's like a hyper green gray. It's the Dunkman look, but just on an Air Max 90. And I think they have so many opportunities here the next lifetime, since he's a lifetime athlete, to retro or finally release all these Air Force Ones, because LeBron loves Air Forces. He loves Air Maxes. Like, he really, truly does love Air Maxes. And there's so many out there in the sample world that are just ripe to be released. And these are one of them. The 90s are crazy.
Yeah. The 90 has like the super reflective heel,
yes,
right?
Sir.
I think. Yeah, that's definitely, that'd be a dope shoe.
There's so many LeBron stuff. It's going to be so good whenever it happens.
Yep. So a couple other ones that would be on my wish list would be, we've mentioned it on previous episodes, but the Dizzy Rascal Air Max 90, just that like soft gray and pink, definitely up there. More on the general release side. I don't normally like patent, and I know that's why I didn't buy the shoes, but in hindsight, I look at them and I really appreciate them. Was the Elmer's Glue Air Max 90?
That whole pack, I feel like, is one of those where when they retro, people can be feeling that nostalgic or these are retro I need to buy feelings. Those are just, I mean, they're so basic, like you wouldn't know it was Elmer's Glue unless somebody told you. And that's kind of cool. Like I like the mysterious Nike collabs where it's not explicitly said. It's not a collab. It's just like inspired or references something. And those are always really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I don't know if I guess it's been a while. The Foot Locker exclusive Air Max 90 from whenever it was, 2013 or something, was the I Am the Rules.
Oh yeah,
colorway. It was basically like white and purple, orange, lime accents, or like kind of like an neon infrared swoosh. Kind of looked like a Joker shoe, to be honest.
Yeah, no, those were super cool. It's funny, like when they're exclusive, if you're looking for them or you have a pair, you remember them, but they can very easily fall by the wayside. The Air Max 90, the Nike San Francisco 10-year anniversary is another one. Like if you know about it, you know, but to the history books, it's kind of slept on. Definitely slept on.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Air Max 90s, just from, growing up in the sneaker world around there, going to Nike Town all the time. And shout out to my guy, Varian, Kicks with V, give him a follow on Instagram. He actually used to work at Nike when it was Nike Town, San Francisco back in the day. And I mean, that was like the spot in San Francisco, right? Like it was, I mean, Nike stores now don't compare to what like the old Nike Towns were, because
not at all.
you just didn't have access to Nike directly. So there was, Nike Town, San Francisco, Vegas, like there was like a handful of cities that got a really, truly impressive Nike Town for a while. And then like, I don't know, 5-10 years later, obviously all of that shifted and the stores became a little bit different because I think they realized like they might have been focused a little too much on the sneaker consumer when it was Nike Town. But yeah, that was definitely one of the shoes for me that was most coveted. If I were to have a list of most coveted shoes of all time, that's definitely near the top.
Shout out Casey Swoosh Life. Used to work at Nike Town Seattle. I used to work at Nike Town Las Vegas when it was still Nike Town. But yeah, it's just the shift has been so dramatic. Now you go in there and it's like a couple shoes and like yoga outfits. It's like it's a different game. Speaking of games, like here's another not direct tie, but the Seahawk Air Max 90s, those are super clean too. Another lime. I guess we see lime a lot on Air Max 90s, but those are super clean. I've always liked those a lot.
Yeah, I think the colorway looks really good on the 90s. I think too, like it's almost like for fans of a team, right? Certain, like if you're a Seahawks fan, like obviously old school Seahawks colors, it's a dope shoe. But even when you're not a fan of the team, I think like generally speaking, applying sports teams to sneakers in a like home and away type look is always a good move because people that it doesn't have to have the branding of it, but like you can still like the colors and not be a fan of the team, right? And I think like that's allow that to happen.
Let's put it this way. It's like the Niners and the Atlanta Falcons, they've never changed their color schemes for a reason. And like they work. So you can take the team off it and, red, black, and silver, and red, black, and gold are still going to look real good.
Yeah, for sure. So what else we got? Okay, so this one is next couple. We talked about the crepes, right? So crepes have like I don't know that it's actually like hemp, but it was basically kind of looked like a hemp material on like the toe box and the collar. A little bit after that was the Powerwall pack 2006. Just like part of like the history of air celebration. That was definitely a popular one. Not like a typical sneakerhead color combo because it was like really dark navy blue and black and orange, right? I don't know. I don't know what I can't remember off the top of my head what other Powerwall releases there were, but that was like a big deal back then.
There was a free no, that's Nike free power lines. Never mind. Man, I'm going to come back next episode and have to regurgitate that because I can't think of it.
Yeah. I mean, I know there was, like Air Max 90. There was a bunch of, back then there was a bunch of, Air Max 90, Air Max 1. I think they did a 95. I think they did a burst, and then they kind of applied the name to a lot of things, I think, if I remember correctly. But I don't know, like I know the Air Max 1 was like I want to say it was like that green with the red swoosh. But anyway, off topic. Let's get back to the 90s. What else do we have left? Oh, so my buddy Aaron would probably kill me if I didn't mention this one, but the Clerks pack pack from 2006 was super fire.
From the movie, right?
Yeah, they did like what they do, like the 90 had like the like light blue, pink, and then like a gray with black. And then there was a Nike Air Stab that had like yellow, navy, and red, like multicolor Air Stab on the side. There was a Clerk pack. Undefeated actually did a dunk at one point. I don't remember what year that was, but and And there was a brown like version of the Clorox Pack 2, I think, but I'm specifically referencing like the pink like version of the 90. And like I forget the I want to say that was like size, but then the other Clerks release that was probably more popular was the Union Air Max or Air Force 180, which I'm sure most people remember had like that confetti colored liner and safari with pink and blue. Not the runner, but like the Air Force 180, like the Barclays, which is super dope shoe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, you said the Air Stab, and it got me thinking. The Foot Patrol Air Max 90 from 2006.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that might be the first time I actually heard of Foot Patrol. Maybe.
I mean, polka dots are definitely an acquired taste. There's a black and a brown pair. Oh, man. Do you remember those polka dot Air Jordan 1? There was like a green polka dot and like a white polka dot.
Yeah, yep.
It's like, I still don't know how I feel about those shoes. And I still don't know how I feel about the Foot Patrols. It's like polka dot's really, really tough to pull off.
So I typically can't pull it off. But the shoe that I actually like wore the first time that I was like, I'm gonna make this work was actually like a pair of Puma undefeated Puma Clydes, like black with a polka dot. I don't know when they came out, but yeah, I don't know. Like this is one of those shoes where I see it and I'm like, there's nostalgia creeping in, but I don't think I would actually buy it if I had the opportunity to.
Yeah, me either. But I mean, some listener out there is going to think, man, I love the Foot Patrol Air Max 90. You guys are tripping. So
yeah.
We at least have to bring it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
what else? Is there any more that you can think of?
I got two that are very non-traditional. Back in like 2013, they did pretty much all reworked original Air Maxes. So they had like a no-sew Volt Air Max 90, an engineered mesh Air Max 90, 95 no-sew. And there was an Air Max 90 that was infrared, but it was engineered mesh. I love engineered mesh. I'm super weird about it. I think it's one of the best materials for an upper Nike's ever made. I love mesh, and an engineered mesh is just layer on layer pressed really tight on top of each other. So you still get the breathability, but it's way more durable. And you can have it set up so it's more dense in some areas than other to kind of control stretching. But I think those are one of the very few I would say material switch ups on an OG shoe that I really liked. So there's those. And then the Grid Pack, which have like Flywire going all through it. It came out in like 2008 when Flywire was debuted. So Flywire is running all through it, or at least the print of it is. And it has like a free 4-foot. Super cool. I mean, they're just different. They're out there. To kind of throw some random Air Max 90s at you.
I think so. Was the engineered mesh, did it have like the rounded toe on the front, or was it?
It was definitely not true to form, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I don't know if I remember that one exactly, but one of the I guess like it might be the same thing, but one of the like, because like so the engineered mesh was different than the Air Max 90 Current, right? The Current had like so I'm thinking of the Air Max 90 Current. I think it's Kevin Lyons. It was like orange, and there was like a 3-pack. This is way back. I know there was a Ben Drury Current, But the Kevin Lyons one is the one that I was like super into. It was like orange, white, had like his artwork on the liner and on the tongue. I don't know. I mean, we might get a little too far off of Air Max 1s when we go towards like the currents, the freeze, all the different variations. But what's that?
They're still rolling with the pack.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I don't know. We might be at 30 right now.
I think we are. I've been keeping a loose tally.
The one that I think is worth noting that we didn't mention is the women's laser pink colorway with like the silver mudguard.
Yeah.
I really wish that shoe was made in men's sizes. I don't think I've ever seen it in a 15 women's. So, but I digress.
No. Yeah.
So
I'm running through. I think we've definitely hit everything that we should have. I can't think of one shoe that someone's going to be like, man, you guys forgot those. It'll happen though. But
yeah, as soon as we hit publish, people are going to be like, yo, you forgot these. But that's why we need your help out there. If you're listening, let us know what we forgot. We need to have the collective of the community to keep us all in check and to keep us moving forward. Because honestly, like just sitting here talking for an hour or whatever it's been, I can't possibly remember all the shoes. And I'd rather be able to have feedback from people. So don't roast us too hard. You know, like you don't need to like, well, I mean, if you want, you know, throw up your pictures and be like, yeah, sneaker history sucks because they forgot about this shoe. In the no publicity or bad publicity is any publicity is good publicity. What is that saying? I think that's what we're shooting for today.
You got it.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of good Air Max 90 colorways that we could potentially see for the 30th anniversary. But
well, even better, maybe there'll be completely new fun stuff like the Volt pair I just got and the Persian Violet, whatever they're calling it, purple. Those aren't OGs. They're new colorways. They just look old. And that's like, I would say infinitely more fun than releasing. Well, I can't say that because I want the blue and the infrared to come back. But basically there's going to be new stuff coming. And I'm excited to see what new stuff they bring out for this anniversary. So maybe 50 years at that landmark, we'll see these again. Who knows? But just old, new, something borrowed, you know, that whatever. There's going to be a lot of good stuff.
Definitely. And I just realized that I forgot the two of them that actually three of them that I wanted to talk about. So they did like that, going back to the infrared variations. I don't know if you remember, but they did that like croc skin variation. It was like all black with infrared.
Yes, they did.
I think that one is worth mentioning. Personally, I have a pair of Air Max 90s that were Pro Bowl. I forget what they're called, Athletica something or other, for like the Pro Bowl. So they were given to the players that made the Pro Bowl, Nike athletes that made the Pro Bowl. I don't know that we can go too far down that because there's a lot of like crazy PEs or whatnot, but I'll try to grab those and post pictures up soon. And then last but not least, just because Fantastic Four, was it the Mr. Fantastic, like that blue, all blue, was that?
Yes. They had those with like the Thing dunks. Yeah, there was a whole pack.
Yeah, and then there was like this, like I think the 95s. Was it the 95s or the like bright orange and red, like just super
Johnny Blaze,
like obnoxious in an amazing way.
Yes.
I digress once again. Let us know what we're missing. keep us in check. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram. You can follow me personally at Nick Ingval on all platforms. More importantly, just follow at Sneaker History. And Robbie, let them know how they can find you.
You can find me at RAHBEE702. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you're listening to this part of it, you super rock.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We definitely appreciate it. Yes, for sure. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Yep. See ya.
Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, I wanted to ask a couple favors of you. If you're interested in more content from the Sneaker History crew, become a member of our Patreon page where we post daily content, drop exclusive episodes, and host monthly giveaways. We'll even help you hunt for your grails. Check us out at patreon.com/sneakerhistory. Also, make sure you sign up for our email newsletter at sneakerhistory.com/email. We send out weekly updates on the footwear business and what we're working on here at Sneaker History. Last but not least, take a second to tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how much it means to someone, and it might even plant the seeds for something even bigger. As always, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time. Peace. Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify and Amazon Music, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more video content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in our Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is a connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions that we have in common with each other. We recently launched a couple of new podcasts directly from our community. One of them is a Formula One podcast. If you're an F1 fan like me, the Exhaust Notes podcast is your weekly fix of Formula One fun. It's hosted by myself, Rohit Malhotra, and Todd Yates. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I've been wearing fitted hats for years and collecting my favorite teams since I was a little leaguer. It has been awesome to see so many new fans getting into fitteds in recent years. Crown and Stitch is our new talk show about fitted hats with Dexter, Keith, and myself, where we talk about fitted hats, snapbacks, throw in some obscure hats because we all kind of like some funky stuff once in a while, don't we? Copping, collecting, and so much more. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Hit the links in the show notes for this episode to give our new shows a listen, and be on the lookout for more new podcasts dropping soon. Last but not least, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Thank you all for the support, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.